My name is Abel Guardado. I was born in the streets of South Central Los Angeles, California, United States of America. I was born in a pretty corrupt family. My mom was a victim of domestic abuse. My dad would hurt her physically and verbally and almost anything else you can think of. I had two little sisters, and after some years of living down there, my mom had built up the courage and boldness to leave. It was a big step in our family because we had never left California, Oregon. She has never left Los Angeles. And so when we left, she built a better family. She got remarried, had two more girls, and so I'm a big brother of four little sisters. Everything started to build up smoothly. It wasn't until middle school that she had begun to tell me about what was happening and why I have to every year fly over to California to see my biological father again. And things just didn't fit right. I started asking myself, why was my dad doing drugs so much? Why was my dad hitting my mom so much? Why was it so bad that my mom had to move away from her family and her friends and all that? And I just started hating him. And I started thinking, I can't forgive a man that did that to my family. But it was more about the core thing that was going on, because it started reflecting on my grades on school in 8th grade. It started reflecting on me not being able to forgive anybody, on me just hating everyone, me wanting to fight everyone if somebody tried to mess with me. And so that began to leverage even more towards high school. I started to have more of the freedom to skip. I started having more of the freedom to tag on walls and sell drugs, and so things just started to escalate and escalate. My mom started seeing the grades. The cops ended up telling her, like, look, your son's gonna go to jail if he doesn't stop. And that was kind of good. That only built a rule that me and my mom lived on, which was, you can do anything you want, just don't do anything illegal. So basically, I can have sex with as many girls as I wanted. I can listen to whatever music I wanted. I can be materialistic. I can curse with my friends, do whatever I want. Just don't do anything illegal. And so I started living on that. I mean, it was kind of good because I started to watch these videos on TV about God. And I never knew God. I didn't have a Christian friend or anything like that. So I remember just saying, like, God, I want to know you in any way that I can. And so there'd be these videos, and at the end of every video, this preacher would always say, find yourself a local church, a local Christian church. And so I'd be like, what the heck is a Christian church? I don't even know what the church is. So I remember just telling my mom, like, Mom, whoever this guy is telling us to go to whatever church this is, we gotta go. We gotta go hear more of the message, because I fell in love with it, and my mom fell in love with it. And so we started going to the church called Village. It's in Beaverton, Oregon, Village Baptist Church. The only thing that was bad for me is I started thinking I was like good enough. So I started thinking, wow, I'm a 15-year-old guy that gave up everything. I'm pretty good. Like that's good enough, God. I don't need to forgive anyone. I don't gotta stop cursing or like tell you, I don't even gotta bring you into my school because I'm good enough. So eventually that good enough statement began good enough to convince my mom to let me move back to South Central Los Angeles. When I moved back over there, it was because I wanted to go for school. But the real meaning was because I had more cousins over there and they had more freedom. So I was like, yeah, I wanna have that freedom again. Once I moved back over there though, I just went right back at it again. Selling drugs, hanging out with gangsters. And so I found myself in jail, the worst place. And so I remember just at midnight, the cops showing up, put me and my cousin in handcuffs. We went to jail, and they put me like in that suit thing, that really ugly one, where you're like, look like a clown. And they do it on purpose. And they put me in cuffs, you know, from wrist to my ankles. And I was like, I'm one of those guys. Oh, dang it. You know, I had cops telling me, you're gonna be here for 5 years. You're gonna be here for birthdays, your family's birthdays, holidays. Congratulations. No matter who you are, if you go to jail, they'll hate you. And so I went just with the thought of, I don't got my mom to save me. I don't got money to save me. I don't got my friends to save me. I don't got nobody here to save me. Nobody knows me. They only know that I'm in jail. The good thing was they gave me a Bible. And I was like, dang, I forgot about that Bible. I forgot about that opportunity to follow God. And now look at me, I'm at rock bottom. I'm looking at facing years in here. So I remember just making the most authentic, real, raw prayer I needed to make to this God. And I just asked him, look, I never knew you, but if you get me out of this place, I'm gonna give everything I have to you. I'll surrender everything I have to you, and I'll follow you. And I don't know if you're up there or not, but if you're really this God that everyone's telling me about, please prove yourself to me. Please show yourself to me. Dude, you don't see that in LA, man. Not see those clouds in LA. It's like no clouds. So it was just sunny and blue and dark and gangsterish. That's LA. I remember my first trial came up, and I was really scared because somebody had told me, you know why the judge became a judge? And I was like, no. And they told me, well, he became a judge because his daughter was murdered. And so he became a judge to give people time, intentionally, to give you time. And I was like, oh, dang it, and out of all the judges. And I remember they put me in a smaller cell because my cell can be smaller, and with more guys in it, creepy guys, and they were all talking about gangs and drugs and all this kind of stuff, and I was just like, okay, God, what do you want me to do right now? Like, I'm gonna surrender everything, but how do I actually practice that and live that? And so as they were telling me about their gangs and their homes and their families, I just told them, you know, we gotta stop coming to a place like this. I don't want to see us in this room again. We should be in like business offices, and we should be doing good in school, and we should be with our families and not here suffering, making them cry. And I remember everybody just started opening up to me. One guy told me, you know, I was in high school and I started smoking weed. That's why I got kicked off my football team. Another guy was like, this is my 5th time here. And I told him, look, from now on, let's never see each other here again. Not here. There's too many of us here. I got this tattoo because it's my house address in Los Angeles, 1536, and I got it in a heart because I used to hate the place with what my dad used to do with it, but I put it in a heart because I had to forgive it. Hence, I got forgive next to it because I had to forgive my dad, and then I got LA over here, and then my favorite one, I got it in my little sister's handwriting. She's my baby girl. I put, he doesn't come dressed in a red cape and pointy horns. He comes as everything you've ever wished for. Saying that the devil isn't going to come looking like you think. He's going to come in disguises and all that stuff. So, all for God. And I remember just this one Christian song was playing in my head, and it was in Spanish, but translated it said, even though you're not here, I know that I can see you. And even though I know that I can't touch you physically, I can sense you. Like, I know that you're here. I know that you're here. So I remember going to the bench, and I was just shaking my legs, and I was just like praying and just singing. And I was like, oh God, I just have this hope. My only hope is on you now. It's all I can give to you right now is this simple song, is this simple action. So I remember going in there scared of the judge because he wants to give me time. And so I went in there, and he has this smile on his face. I was just like, why are you smiling? So I don't know if God made him find like a $20 bill on the ground, or if he had just like the best morning of his life or whatever. But he just looked at me smiling, was like, are you Abel? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, did you do this and that? I was like, yeah. And he just said, is that your family over there? And my family was behind me. I said, yes. And the judge said, well, if they're able to pick you up today, you can leave today. And I was just like, what? So I remember going back to the cell, telling everybody, and then somebody told me, guess what? And I was like, what? And they said, there's like a recording device on the ceiling. So everything I was telling the guys, the courtroom was hearing, the judge was hearing. And so remember I left, and I went to Facebook, and I was like, I'm kind of weirded out because I'm about to go on Facebook where I got all my friends that were rapping, that I was cussing with, that I was talking and having conversations with how many girls we're gonna be with, and I was talking about, how much money we're gonna make in the future, and just all these like worldly things. And I remember going on Facebook, just sharing that song that I was singing over and over again. And I posted a caption, and I put, I can't give anyone except God my life. And I can't thank anyone more than God himself. And I decide to give him my life. And I don't know what that's gonna look like. I have no idea what the heck this is gonna look like. But I promised I'm gonna do it. It's him that showed up. It's him that I give my hope to when all else fails. So I'm deciding to follow God. It was weird because I'm like, I'm gonna have a lot of friends that are probably gonna make fun of me for this. They're probably gonna think that's weird, but I did it anyway because I had to do it for God. Well, I got 4 little sisters, and they all got buns. So I was like, that's no fun, I want one. My mom was like, you're a guy, you can't have one. I was like, oh, really? I live in Portland, baby, and you're not moving us out because you moved up here to begin with. So I just grew myself a bun. Just because my sisters had one, I was like, I want one. And I remember just after that, moving forward, I just went to church all the time. I built myself around a new family that encouraged me to become better, not to destroy myself. I remember giving up my pride. I remember that I had to forgive people. That was the biggest thing that had created my entire life. I remember just calling my dad and telling him, Dad, I love you. I love you. And I mean that. And if I was with you, I wish I could just hug you. Because our last conversation before that was me telling him, I wish I could kill you. And if I saw you, I wish I could hurt you. And I can never forgive you for what you did for my family. It's because of you that you created my family filled with scars that we had to move away. It's because of you that I had this hatred. So it's because of you that I'm like this. But I remember just calling him later and just telling him, it's because of God that I'm able to forgive you, forgive everybody, and love you and love everybody. I don't care what you did to me. I don't care about that anymore. I just want you to fall in love with God too. I want you to fall in love with this God that had changed me. And I remember him telling me, if I saw you any other time, I wouldn't recognize you because you're not who I thought you were, in a good way. This place gave me a family. This place gave me my identity. It was a place where I was able to find my identity and who I really was. If Jesus were to come down and ask where the church was, you wouldn't GPS it or ask where it was at. You would point towards the people, and this place gave me the people that I needed. It gave me a mentor, mentors. It gave me new friends. It gave me new people to lean on for strength and encouragement and just to find life into. It was all based off of prayer, a fellowship, community, a family, so that we can all follow God together and so that we won't be alone in it. I would say that anybody that's watching this, all my friends, because I still have a lot of friends on Facebook. I never deleted anybody. I know you got forgiveness that you have to have towards somebody else that has hurt you. I know that you've been thinking about going to God, but you don't want to have that humility. You don't want to be ashamed. I would really encourage you and push you to pray to him and go to a church near you and have him write a story over you. And it's going to be the greatest decision that you're ever going to make in your life. So that's my story. Nacho. Ignacio. Esqueleto.